Alright, what's good everyone? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I want to talk about LumaFusion in 2025 and why I think it's one of the most frustrating apps on the market, and also why it's the best video editing app on mobile phones and mobile devices, but also the worst in different ways. So let's get into it. So LumaFusion and me have a love-hate relationship. I love what this app can do, and I love the potential of it, but I hate actually using it. Like, it makes me frustrated so many times. Like, as you can see, just scrolling through, you have an error popping up when you scroll through saying the complexity of the timeline is causing issues and stuff like that, and it's just not working. And you might think like, oh yeah, like this is a pretty complex timeline. If you can see, I got different tracks, I got titles, a bunch of photos, videos, audio stuff, whatever, you know, a lot of cuts. You might think it's happening because it's a complex timeline, like it's saying, but no, it says this message only when there's one track in the project. And also, like, when you're barely even doing anything, I see this message pop up and it's just annoying and frustrating. And usually when this message pops up, that means that there's other issues that are happening. Like, for example, there's supposed to be 2 images here, but it's only showing 1. And when you scrub through, it's doing different things. It's not showing what it's supposed to be showing. Like, a lot of random bugs and glitches just be happening on LumaFusion.
Sure. The S25 Ultra is...
And if I press play, it's just freezing, lagging, and just doing weird stuff. It's not playing back like how it's supposed to. And, you know, for the longest time, I thought it was my phone that was the issue. You know, I had like much different Samsung phones over the past couple of years. Since LumaFusion dropped on Android, I bought it and I've been using it. And I thought it was my devices not being powerful enough, because on iOS and iPadOS, it works way better than this. So I thought the phones weren't powerful enough. But then recently, I actually took in that it wasn't the phones, it was the software itself. The software just is buggy and not optimized at all for Android. And part of that issue is the codecs that LumaFusion and Android support. So for example, on Android, you can only use H.264 or H.265, and those are not the best codecs for video editing. So you're going to have issues when when the phone and the processor and stuff like that has to constantly encode and decode and stuff like that, all the video files. So that already is not a good look for Android in terms of video editing. But I feel like it goes more than that, because the software is just not that optimized. Because with iOS and iPadOS, using the same video files, you'll have way better playback and performance. At this point, especially with this S25 Ultra, I feel like it's a little bit easier than most Android phones, most Android devices I've used when it comes to video editing. So with the S25 Ultra, with all its power, I can get through video editing sessions a little bit easier than other devices. But it's still annoying, and it still requires me to work around it and, you know, just do different things. Like, for example, right now I can't even play back the video, but I have to kind of guess and know that like the video is actually still there even though it doesn't show it, and also that it's, you know, playing the right clip and things like that. You have to do a bunch of different workarounds to make sure that your video is the way it is supposed to be, and that is annoying. So like, the state of LumaFusion in 2025 is a buggy mess in my opinion on Android, but also even on iOS and iPadOS. Like, it's not terrible on that platform, but it definitely, I've encountered bugs more often in the last like 1 or 2 years versus like before that. I feel like the software, something is going on with it and it's not being, like, you know, developed upon or optimized. And yeah, it's very frustrating, because like the thing is, a lot of people say use KineMaster or use VN editor and stuff like that. VN editor is pretty good, but a lot of those other video editors on Android, they just can't do what LumaFusion does. Like, you can see right here, this is a waveform, and for me, when I, you know, record my voice like I am right now, I need to see the waveform so that I can edit my voice properly or edit what I'm saying properly. If you can't see the accurate waveforms, then you kind of have to play it and guess where you stop and then cut there and then delete out the empty space, stuff like that. You have to keep pausing and playing. Whereas with the waveforms, I can literally just see where I'm talking, where I stop talking, and I can delete the empty space, where I can see certain words that I say. I can tell the different shape, and then I can just cut them out. So that's what LumaFusion does well. LumaFusion, I think, is basically the only video editing software on Android that actually shows you proper waveforms. Like, I tried Adobe Premiere Rush or whatever, and it shows waveforms, but not accurately. VN Editor also shows waveforms, but not accurately. LumaFusion does that, and it allows me to cut through actual audio and make real videos in LumaFusion because of this one feature right here, the waveforms. So if other video editors did that, then I would definitely try them more and give them more of a chance. But that's why I have to use LumaFusion. That's why I love this program, because it has that ability to see waveforms and like everything else it can do, color grading, cutting. Like, it's a full-fledged video editor, but because of these random bugs and glitches, it just makes it so annoying to use, even though I love using it because of what it can do. Like, potentially in a perfect world, video editor would be amazing. and it would just help my workflow so much and allow me to, I mean, I'm still doing it. I'm still making videos on my YouTube channel with LumaFusion and a phone, but it will allow me to do that so much better and more faster, especially with Samsung Dex. I can just plug it in and, you know, video edit off of my Samsung device. And I do that sometimes, but the reason why I don't do that often is because LumaFusion, it has shortcuts, but you can't customize the shortcuts, unfortunately. So that's something I would love to see, you know, custom shortcuts. So I can just go, you know, press one key to delete, one key to cut, and all that kind of stuff. And then the software is just not optimized for using a mouse anyways, and a trackpad. So like it does work, but it's definitely not the best experience. So a lot of times I just edit like this with my thumbs. I feel like it's just faster. So I can play, I can pause, I can slide through, zoom in and out quickly. I can drag and drop things. I can cut. I can resize the UI quickly whenever I need to, and just get a bunch of different things. Video editing is good in LumaFusion when it works, but when it doesn't work, which is like half of the time, it's just super annoying. So for somebody like me who's trying to, you know, move all your work onto a phone or a mobile device, LumaFusion is going to be your best friend, but also your enemy. It's going to be your frenemy. And so like one thing you can do to actually improve the performance a little bit is just cleaning up the RAM, you know, optimizing your phone. If you do that, it will help LumaFusion a little bit. It'll give you like maybe like 5 to 10 minutes of better performance. It's not gonna be perfect after a certain point, but it definitely improve it for a little bit. So like you can see it's scrubbing through a little bit better than it was before when I was showing you. So that's one thing you can do. Another thing you can do to kind of optimize LumaFusion and make it run better is just delete other project files. So if you have other projects that you're done with, just delete them off your phone from here. So you select the project, go to the trash can, and then delete them and get rid of those projects. And that will help the performance a little bit. I'm not sure why, but it does. And those are the two things that I know of that you can do to improve your performance. You can also video edit lower quality things like 1080p versus 4K like I'm doing. So 1080p will definitely have better performance. But yeah, it's just frustrating because I know this phone has power. I know this phone is very, very capable. Like this is the first Samsung phone in a long time to play, you know, Genshin Impact at high settings with 59 FPS, nearly 60 FPS on average. And with all that power, it can't, you know, video edit when it should be able to. Like I know video editors have crazy computers and stuff like that, but like these mobile chips are very serious. And like this stacks up to Apple's, you know, current iPhone chip, which is very capable at video editing. So it's not a matter of capability or power in the device, and even like thermal management. I think Samsung got it right with this generation. It does heat up, but not to the point where it's thermal throttling like crazy. So it's not about whether this phone can do it. It's about the software optimization of the program and stuff like that. So hopefully it improves, but at this point I'm losing hope because it's been so long since LumaFusion started acting like this, and it just low-key has been getting worse and worse over time. And then there's also different things about the software that just are not good. Like to do any kind of edit to the clips and the audio files and stuff like that, like you have to either press the pencil or double tap, and it brings you to a whole nother menu, and it's just different menus to do different things. Then you go back to the timeline and double tap, that's a different clip. And then, you know, a bunch of different menus. Like it's constantly taking you out of menus and putting you into menus, rather than just doing everything from here. And even if it was just like, you know, something pop up on the side and you just adjust it, I feel like that would be a lot quicker than completely taking over the screen every single time. And then also like applying the same edits to multiple tracks, multiple files, multiple things, that you have to press this check mark and then go like this. And it does some auto stuff where like if you tap one on the main track and then you press one further down, it selects everything. So like there's a lot of like little things like that kind of make video editing on this not as good as it can be. So for anybody who's considering LumaFusion, I think it's really good for, you know, smaller projects, video editing sessions. It definitely can help you on the go. Like let's say you want to start working on a video on your phone before you get home. It's definitely good for that. But for long-term, like full-fledged videos, like what I'm doing right here with the complex timelines, effects, text, whatever it is, and whether you have the patience to actually deal with that and work through that, that's up to you. I do, because this is like, I don't know, I just love the idea of like video editing off of my phone, my one phone being everything I need in terms of computing and stuff like that. I think it's just really cool. So that's why I struggle through it. Like the workflow of shooting a video with this camera and then editing that same video on the same device wherever I am is just, it's amazing. So that's why I do it. But you know, if you don't have that patience, then you're definitely going to have issues with LumaFusion. And yeah, so I hope LumaFusion gets better. But honestly, if you're trying to video edit on your phone or your mobile device and you want a flawless experience, I suggest just getting a MacBook or a Mac Mini, like things with anything with anything with Apple's M series chip. I suggest that for video editing on a budget, or you know, you don't want to spend a lot of money. Get an iPhone, a recent iPhone, a recent iPad. Those are just going to be a better experience in general for video editing. So yeah, that is how I feel about LumaFusion in 2025. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think it's a good program? Have you had good or bad experiences? Some people might tell me to email them, and I've tried that multiple times, and it doesn't really do anything. So yeah, if you LumaFusion people see this video, please improve the software. But that is it. We are out. Peace.